Hello and welcome to the latest news of With Heavy Hearts. We announced a sudden passing of a true Hollywood legend, Clint Eastwood. Norell was born in Wallace, Idaho on October 4, 1937, to mother Wilma Helen Snook, 1905 to 2001, and James Alden Norell, 1908 to 1989. His family, including brother James, moved to follow his father, who was in the Army and who ultimately retired with the rank of brigadier general. His father was sent to Korea during the war. The family lived in Tokyo, Japan. Norell returned to the States after the war and attended Falls Church High School in Virginia, where he acted in several school plays. He attended college at Washington and Lee University, where he majored in journalism. After graduating college, Norell entered the Army, where he spent the next 5 years, leaving with the rank of captain. After his stint in the Army, he went to work for the Richmond Times-Dispatch. He went to New York City not too long after returning to civilian life and worked at acting full-time. 6 months later, he arrived in Hollywood, where he won the role of Captain Henry Hank Stanley for the show Emergency. In addition to acting in the show, Norell also wrote 4 episodes of Emergency, which began his career as a screenwriter. Norell commented on the show's writing process. "I would be invited by executive producer Bob Sinader to pitch ideas. You'd spend an hour or two throwing out ideas for rescues and hospital stories and firehouse stories, and eventually there were enough that he liked, and he'd tell you to go to work. A couple of weeks later, you'd turn in a first draft. 4. All rewrites were handled by other writers. 4. During his time as Captain Henry Hank Stanley, his most famous phrase, which live on today, were Squad 51 TMG 365, Engine 51 TMG 365, and Station 51 TMG 365. KMG 365 was the call sign for the Station 51 radio-based station. Actual Los Angeles County Station 127, used for exterior shots for intro sequences, response sequences, and occasional return to quarter sequences at Station 51, while a soundstage built to almost replicate the interior of Station 127 was used for interior shots of Station 51. After Emergency ended, Norell turned to screenwriting. He wrote for shows such as The Love Boat, The Next Wave, Nash Bridges, and The Magnificent Seven, among others. His screenwriting credits also include several made-for-TV movies such as Doomsday Rock, 3 on a Date, The Cover Girl and the Cop, Pals, Barnum, Christmas Comes to Willow Creek, and the incident for which he was nominated for an Emmy Award. Other films include The Diamond Fleece, Long Gone, and Against Her Will, An Incident in Baltimore. Norell created and was executive producer for the short-lived Love Boat clone Aloha Paradise. Norell died in Huntington, Pennsylvania on May 12, 2023, at the age of 85. Dad and husband Michael Norell of Emergency passes away. He resided in an assisted living facility before passing away. Although Michael Alden Norell was a multitalented individual, his most well-known performance was as Captain Stanley in the television series Emergency. On May 12, 2023, at the age of 85, Norell passed away after a long performing career. He continued to be referred to as Captain Stanley up until his passing, decades after the show came to an end. On October 4, 1937, Norell was born in Wallace, Idaho, but because of his father's military profession, the family frequently traveled. The family relocated to Tokyo, Japan, when his father left for Korea as a result of the war. Nonetheless, Norell eventually returned to the country and began appearing in plays at Falls Church High School. After that, he made the decision to attend college. At Washington University and Lee University, he majored in journalism. Norell, however, decided to follow in his father's footsteps and enlist in the military after graduating. He served in the military for 5 years before retiring as a captain and beginning his acting career. He quickly relocated to Hollywood and got his big screen debut on Emergency, where he also had writing credits for 4 episodes. He said it all began when Bob Sinead, the executive producer, invited him into the writer's room and requested that he present some of his ideas. This became the norm, and Norell said that they would brainstorm rescue scenarios and medical situations for up to 2 hours before Sinead found one he liked. Then Sinead would tell Norell to start working. His new career as a screenwriter was launched with his screenplay for Emergency. He completely reversed roles once the show finished and went on to pen scripts for programs like The Love Boat, Nash Bridges, and NYPD Blue. The actor is survived by Cynthia Ann Cherbak, his wife of 32 years, his children Chelsea Cherbak Norell and James Cherbak Norell. Norell had a large group of devoted friends and caregivers who gave updates on his health in addition to his family. The actor also shared some personal information with Emergency viewers. What were the last years of Michael Norell's life like? Norell continued to play a significant role in the Emergency series, and the show even posted on its Facebook page when the actor fell into a coma in 2016. The scriptwriter, who was 79 years old, reportedly underwent surgery that put him in a coma. The compassionate message not only provided fans with an update on the actor's condition, but also urged them to pray for Norell. Captain Stanley's caretaker, Linda, provided an update to the Los Angeles County Fire Museum in 2020, assuring admirers that he was doing well. The best caretaker was Linda, who gave the former actor royal treatment. Fans were encouraged not to contact Norell, who resided in a nearby living facility, in order to respect his privacy while he dealt with his health concerns. Norell discussed his time on Emergency with schoolchildren and other firefighters that same year. He admitted that the performers began to believe they were actual firefighters since the show seemed so genuine. Norell admitted that despite the authenticity of his acting, he has never had to use some of the techniques he picked up on set to save a person. Not once, he answered, yet he claimed he would have cherished the chance to assist individuals. The scriptwriter, who had gray hair and a beard, spoke gently and seemed to still have his unmistakable sense of humor despite being in a wheelchair. Throughout the conversation, he had the crowd laughing, and some of them assured him that Emergency was one of the most credible shows. Although Norell fought a protracted struggle with his health concerns, his friends were still shocked and saddened by his loss. Rick Lenz, in particular, was devastated and shared a tearful tribute to him. How did his friend respect Michael Norell? The news of the passing of his friend left Lenz speechless. "I can't wrap my mind around it. I mean, just the idea that he's not here anymore," he wrote. They had a strong connection in 1967. Lenz claimed that up to Norell's dying day, they chatted frequently. Lenz and Norell, who were both performers and screenwriters, collaborated on numerous projects, and Lenz remarked, "Except for my wife and kids, I've never been closer to anyone." Lenz recalled only lovely things about the actor, claiming Norell had given him freedom to be himself. He said, "Michael was one of those rare friends you have that you can just be totally yourself with. Smart, foolish, needy, advice taker, advice giver, you name it." But despite the significant impact he had on people, he admired his friend for not taking himself too seriously. Yet Norell maintained his modesty, and as Lenz noted in his homage to him, he was aware that the actor would have likely found him to be amusing. This is a quality that Lenz will always miss in Norell. Lenz claimed the two guys never told one another how much they cared or how much they respected one another. "We never exchanged awkward declarations of affection like 'I love you.' Not him, but more like me. I did, however, finally utter things like, 'I love you, buddy,' in the recent days, and in response, he would murmur, 'I love you too.'" For those in his immediate group and those who followed him since Emergency and admired his writing on numerous shows, Norell made a lasting impression. His influence will endure for many years to come. Thanks for watching my video.